And good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you. I'm seeing double out here as we take a look at your forecast. We are expecting to see, well, some interesting events take place as we head into the weekend. All the latest on the timing and the track of our wintry weather coming up next. All right, thanks for joining me on Hutch's Weather. Let's get right to it, and we'll talk a little bit about a couple of things. Number one, I'm hearing that there's some mixed messages about when it starts, how much to expect. It's still awful early for a storm system that is still off the coast and is developing, but we'll tell you what we know, and we'll tell you right now. Let's get started with what the National Weather Service has to say with regards to snowfall, and for that, I'm going to just skip right to their image right here. Now, there's still blizzard potential, but we don't know exactly where the potential is the greatest. We're starting to narrow that down, but a lot can change. The duration and severity of impacts is still a little on the uncertain side, but the potential is there for some significant impacts. Of maybe greater interest is what you're seeing behind my melon right here. And let's take a look at this. This is a chance of at least 6 inches of snow. Notice Fargo right by the ramp, it starts decreasing pretty great here, but 6 or more inches of snow, southeast North Dakota, all of eastern South Dakota into southern Minnesota as well. So let's be prepared for some pretty deep snow. You get around that Highway 200 corridor, as we've been talking about the last couple of days, and we're going to see a rapid decrease in snowfall amounts as we go through. And we'll talk a little bit more about the specifics on that. Thanks for joining me. Hey, Jesse from Vining joining. Thanks so much for taking the time to check things out. We'll get you the information you need here first and foremost, and let's start with a look at that radar. And right now, the clipper that we had is moving all the way off to the East Coast, where there are winter storm warnings, and over a foot of snow combined with ice is expected from that puppy. And now it's going through areas north of Chicago and north of Detroit. But for us, you see all the colorful counties here. Let me articulate. National Weather Service has a huge area, the Dakotas, most of it, not the far north near Minot, but most of the Dakotas under a winter storm watch. That means the ingredients are all there, but we're not certain yet exactly the track that this system's going to take with its greatest impacts. That said, anywhere that's yellow right now, keep fluid travel plans and be prepared for some wild weather. Herbert from Detroit Lakes, good to see you. Nathan, good to see you. And Paul, as always, thanks so very, very much for your support. And you are supporting the Sioux as well. Sounds like we got Paula joining in with a little bit of a star party. So thank you so much for your support. You can do that by sharing stars right now. Paula, thank you so very much. And you can also do that by tagging friends on these broadcasts. Now, elaborating on the red, you see in Montana, things get started a little earlier and a winter storm warning is already in place there. So I want to be clear about the when and the where and the timing, and we're going to get to that momentarily. Right now, we're enjoying quiet conditions. Jeff, thanks so much for the stars. You guys are the best. And look at this, Debbie joining from Thief River Falls. What's Thief River Falls going to get Monday? We're going to go over it all in detail, and I hope to get through it in a timely fashion so you can enjoy the weather while it's still decent to enjoy outdoors. Let's get to it right now. Let's start with Saturday morning. It's going to be cold out there. Here you go as we take a look at what we're expecting. Temperatures in the single digits thanks to clear skies, and I think we'll have a chance at being pretty close to the single digits here in the Fargo area with a dusting of snow down near the South Dakota border. I don't think the model's doing a good enough job here. I think we're going to see some of you that got upwards of 4 or 5 inches of snow with temperatures in those single digits. It's going to be a chilly start. Light winds, not too bad. We'll see some clear skies. Look what's happening out to the west. Light snow. This system starts in western North Dakota with light snow, but it could last all day. So over the course of the entirety of Saturday, and particularly late in the evening hours as we head into Saturday night late, we may see that snow starting to increase in its intensity. All right, please miss Clearwater County. Mia says, Dave says, thanks. I think I'll stay in North Carolina another week. Maybe not a bad idea as we head into the forecast there. Walhalla joining, and Janie, thank you so very much. Janie, rather. And Buckeye, Arizona is 84. That almost sounds hot. No, that does sound hot. Now, let's look at your forecast. The afternoon, the snow could pick up in intensity just a little bit here in southwest and south central North Dakota, but it doesn't look like the heavy snow yet. I'll show you exactly what I mean in the model here momentarily. Temperatures in the near 30-degree range here in the Red River Valley. Valley, 20s for most though. And we'll have increasing clouds late in the day. Wind, not too bad, northeast at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Here's what it looks like on the good old-fashioned weather map. Let's see, where did I put that weather map? I gotta thumb through my pages here and there, and let's go here, let's go there. Okay, so this is Saturday. By the evening hours, there could be some light to moderate snow here along Interstate 94 for our friends in Ashley, Wishick, Napoleon, but more likely out towards Bismarck and out west. Notice it doesn't look too impressive because it isn't quite yet. The winter storm warning, though, is in place for our neighbors in Montana. Things really get going late Saturday and into Sunday morning. That's when they see their snow. For our part of the state in eastern North Dakota, western Minnesota, Sunday is the day we've been talking about. Now, as far as winds go tomorrow night, not too bad. So if you're traveling back from a dance competition, I've had a few questions about that, whether you're traveling back to the capital city or anywhere like that, you're going to drive into some snow out to the west. But will it be super heavy? Well, the best news is to try to get home the fastest that you can because things change in a big way. Here's a look at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So overnight, we rise and shine, we get up, we stretch. Oh my goodness, we have a dry northeast flow in the northern half. Not much going on there. You're going to be looking at your watches, tapping it, going, what's old Hutch talking about? Winter storm, nothing here. Oh, he's wrong again. Nope, nothing going on up there, but the event really starting to get close to the Southern Valley. Snow showers will just be beginning in places near Fargo and southeast North Dakota where you see the dark blues. That's heavy snow. Light snow up north, and wind will be very gusty. Notice an easterly or southeasterly component to the wind here in the southern counties, but a dry northeasterly flow. And that's part of what cuts off some of the snowmaking machine out there. Here's what you need to know. Wow, Tara, thank you so very much for the stars. I'm very humbled by all of you who really just do your very best to support Hutch and Hutch's weather. Mary from Fergus Falls joining. Julie says nothing for Fargo until Sunday morning, ? No, I think we're pretty quiet. In fact, maybe not until late morning or noon. Now, here is the deal. The timing is a little bit different on this system depending on who you ask, but I'm going to get my melon out of the way. Ready? Diving out of here in 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh, where'd I go? There we go. Okay, here's the when. And it's different for every location. So Saturday, light snow out to the west, and it increases late out west. So no snow for Fargo really, other than if we get anything, it'll be a renegade flurry and nothing too significant. Sunday, heavy snow develops, gusts 40 miles per hour or more, and it will begin pushing in from west and it will move east. So the heavier snow will be out near Bismarck, Dickinson, southeast or southwest North Dakota, south central North Dakota, Mobridge, South Dakota. All of those areas will see it. I'll show you the model. Pam, thanks for your stars. Sean, traveling back from the cities after supporting UND on the Frozen Face-Off Sunday morning, ? If I was Sean, I would have fluid travel plans and I would leave as early as humanly possible on your Sunday morning and try to get back to where you're going before noon. If you're going to Grand Forks, you may want to alter your route to try to go north first and then off to the west. Pay attention to the weather, travelers. That's my best advice to you. All right, Casey, thanks for your stars. Sherry, thanks for your stars. Extending your reservation, says Simon to Sean. Okay, very good. Changing plans, that's something we all may need to do. Sunday, the heavy snow starts here in the valley, but it doesn't look like, I've been saying, be ready and be at your location by around noon. I'm going to say 10 a.m. to noon. I think you should probably be where you want to be for the best advice at this stage of the event. Now, that could shift a little bit. Monday, heavy snow, mainly though in eastern North Dakota and Minnesota. It begins its end out west. So if you're in western North Dakota, say Bismarck and points west, it's almost done except for some gusty cold north winds. Now, for the valley and Minnesota, it lasts all day Monday. Gusty winds, 45 mile per hour or more. And we could see eastern North Dakota and Minnesota picking up some lofty snowfall totals. And for my friends in South Dakota, you're not on here. Guess why? Because I couldn't fit and SD. So what I want you to know is the eastern third eastern half of South Dakota, to me, looks like the bullseye for this particular storm with its track. The bullseye with impacts for heavy snow. Tuesday, light to moderate snow will be exiting the valley and moving off to the east and northeast. David, thank you so very much for your support of stars. Todd says, what's going to happen in Vergas? You got heavy snow coming to Lakes Country. Anyone in Lakes Country? Garrison, you got a chance at some snow, and I'll show you a little bit more. That's the when. Saturday and Sunday out west, Sunday and Monday here in the eastern part of the state, even Tuesday in the valley early in the day and into Minnesota. So some areas could have snow 3 out of these 4 days listed, and that's a ridiculous amount. So what can you expect? Periods of heavy snowfall? Check. Gusty wind? Check. Becoming northerly as we go into the latter part of the storm system, as we go into Monday mainly. Monday and Tuesday, north winds. The other days, easterly wind. Now, it looks like whiteout is almost a certainty, in travel difficulties will be possible. Visibility near zero at times, particularly in open country where we're getting snow falling. Some won't see much at all. Lori, thank you so very much for the support of stars, and thanks for tagging your friends in the broadcast. Falling temperatures as the system exits and the north wind ushers in some more cold air. Now, here are the impacts, and these are the ones I want you to keep in mind. I can't tell you don't travel, or you should do this, or you shouldn't do that. What I will say is have flexible travel plans. The details of this storm will be ironed out over the next couple of days at the most. Difficulty to impossible travel, and it could become life-threatening travel. If you're out there with the clog of cars and travelers and you get stranded on the interstate, you could be out there for a time, and it could be substantial. Never this time of year in a system like this travel without a survival kit, please. Delays and cancellations to events and air travel are going to be possible. I cannot predict where, but it does look like there could be impacts to Fargo, Minneapolis, Sioux Falls, Pierre, Bismarck, and even out towards Rapid City and Billings will be possible. The Denver area, I don't think that airport will see the direct impacts of this system. I think it'll mainly be a mountain event there. Power disruption cannot be ruled out with the wind and the heavy snow. Speaking of heavy snow, for my friends with livestock, I got to tell you, particularly the youngs going through calving season, if you got some foals on the ground, you want to protect those. And you know what? With a storm like this, the drifts could be very significant with that east wind on Saturday and on Sunday. And it becomes north wind on late Sunday and throughout Monday into Tuesday. So we're going to see a shift in wind, and that's what you need to know to prepare your livestock the best you can. And sometimes there's just simply nothing you can do, but you can try your best to offer some protection from the big and deep drifts that could be taking place with winds from the east and from the north. The snow load could be significant, but mainly in the hardest hit areas. It's not like we already have 2 feet of snow sitting on our roofs that is heavy. That isn't the case. But for large span roofs over larger buildings, those could be susceptible to some very, very heavy wet snow. Hi from Cullum. We have 3.5 inches on the snow. I sure appreciate all of your reports out there. Vergas, what's it look like? I think, Reggie, it looks like a snowy proposition. Let's get to the step in time. Saturday, snow and west. Remember that. And it could be all day, so there could be some accumulation there. Be where you're going to be by Sunday morning out to the west in North Dakota. If you're heading to Bismarck, you probably want to be there before about 6 in the morning or so. It could be snowing and blowing pretty good. By 6 to 10 o'clock in the morning, it'll start shifting into the valley here. Our southern counties will have the greater impacts, and our northern neighbors will say, what storm? Okay. Again, that's a review. Now let's look at the snow track, shall we? Here's what I want to point out with this. We have pretty good confidence. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me see if I can turn that off. There we go. All right, now we got it. I was seeing double. It's from all these maps I've been looking at. Okay, now that I'm seeing single again, the snow. The early part of the event is Saturday. That's tomorrow. We have a pretty good grasp that it's going to be light, but more impactful in Montana with the winds as it really starts to develop. Sunday, that's 2 days out. The models are still not in 100% agreement. That's not unusual. But what we do know is the greatest impacts on Sunday will begin in the morning out west and head our way. And then the snow will really blossom into the eastern parts of the Dakotas, southeast North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, and all of Minnesota. Sunday, all day Monday, and then exiting on Tuesday. That's the timing of it. I'll show you more, but with your permission, we'll go ahead and take a look at the snowfall forecast from the European model. Check this out. Now, the yellow line is the area inside the yellow lines here where the hand is moving around. Those are the areas where I think we'll have winter storm potential with the system. Up north, drier air should cut it off. There is some disagreement on this area. I will highlight it here. See this area here? Some models have the low shooting straight north, which would give more snow to northwest Minnesota. Many of the models have more of a track straight off to the east, but that's not until Monday and Tuesday, and there's a lot of time between those. So I have uncertainty about what you're going to get in Thief River Falls, uncertainty about Red Lake Falls, more uncertainty for Roseau, for Greenbush, and for Baudette. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is, and we'll have more as we get a little closer to those time frames, because a lot can change with systems like this that take 2 days or more to go through. Now, the highlight area here, southeast North Dakota, and I don't want you to pay too particular attention to these numbers. I do want you to know that there is the potential for some ridiculous snowfall of 18 or more inches of snow. Will a lot of places see it? No, not typically, but there is the potential. A model like this is a national or global scale model, and the grid is big. So it tends to make the area impact look big, okay? But as we start to get the ability to look at the higher resolution models in the 48-hour window of the system coming in, then we'll start to see where the narrow band is more likely to set up. And even then, I've seen these models be off by as many as 100 miles or more with the track of the heaviest snow. You know this. So what I'm trying to communicate here is the best chance at impactful weather is all of southern North Dakota south of Highway 200. Okay, it does include Bismarck, even though the Euro says there's a bite kind of taken out of the storm here. Don't necessarily believe that, because it's going to snow longer in and near the capital city. However, from the Black Hills of South Dakota through eastern South Dakota, southeast North Dakota, including Fargo, Moorhead, and Highway 200 and points south, it looks ridiculous. Now, as we look in on Lakes Country, your area could very well be the bullseye. Fergus Falls, Parker's Prairie, Wadena, anyone in Park Rapids, anyone in Nevis, up towards Bemidji. It all looks difficult out there, even out towards Black Duck and in towards the Twin Cities and St. Cloud and Alexandria, and down in towards Morris and Benson, and even south of that near Jackson. And it just looks like there could be some areas that get upwards of 20 inches of snow. Now, the drifts with this, as you can imagine, could be quite sizable as well. So keep that in mind. What about the Twin Cities? Let me move my vehicle out of the way. And we're looking at snow there that could easily be 8 inches or more. The model here says it could be a little bit higher than that. Now, let's take a look at another model. This is the American model. It has more enhanced snowfall amounts here. David, thank you for your stars. So I'm not paying too much attention to these snowfall amounts there, other than there is some consensus of a number of areas having the chance at 18 inches of snow, let's say a foot or more of snow, and some could see as many as 2 feet of snow. The best chance of that is not Fargo. The best chance of that will be in eastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, the way it looks right now. But still, see the similarities in the area of winter storm impacts? So we're starting to gain more confidence, at least Hutch is, that southern half of North Dakota, all of South Dakota, with the exception of the small portion in the southwesternmost corner, Val, thanks for the stars, and almost all of Minnesota, with the exception of the northwestern quadrant, has a chance. Here's the Canadian model, which I did yesterday. It looked pretty good with regards to the last storm system. That one really did good. Let's see if I can find it again here. Did I lose it? That fell out of my pocket. See, the Canadian model has more of a northerly track to this system, but it does have the bullseye in the same spot as the other two models. So what Hutch says we can take away from this is things look to be pretty impactful with this storm system. Again, for most of us in Fargo and eastern North Dakota, Sunday at the latest by noon, be where you want to be and stay up to date with the very latest. Have a survival kit ready and get those snow blowers gassed up and wax your shovels. If you happen to be in the Sisseton Hills, southeast North Dakota, Richland County, and even in areas near Fargo, look at this Canadian model, says Fargo's right in the mix for a good foot of snow potentially. just keep in mind that we will have to keep our eyes on the track as it evolves, and I'll do that. You've seen me do it with the Clipper as that one evolved down south of where it was forecast to impact. We kept you up to date right here. So thanks so very much. That's your Friday update. Here's what you can count on from Hutch. I will have updates on Saturday because on Saturday we will know more about Sunday's snow track. That's going to be huge for us. Mondays will still have some question, but we'll keep you on top of that. Sue Ellen says, here we go. Not surprising. It is March. Yep, it's madness in March for sure. Beware of the Ides of March. And yeah, these March snowstorms can be heavy. They do carry a blessing as well. We certainly need the moisture. Minnesota in some significant drought across the area there. And I can pull up the latest on the drought monitor here and maybe give you a little bit of a hint at what things are looking like across our area here. Let's see if I can pull up that map here. Let's go with the slider one. Let's just go with this. Okay. Give me a moment to set this up there. This was ad lib. The drought conditions in our region are pretty bad in central Minnesota. Here's the latest look at that. And here we go. Let's go with this. Okay. See if you can see the screen. There we go. Let's start with that. This slider, what we're going to look at here, there hasn't been much change in the last week of the drought conditions. What you're looking at here is in parts of Minnesota where you see the tan and particularly the orange shades. Those are indicative in the orange of severe drought you see here. So severe drought, not extreme, but severe drought in northern parts of North Dakota, northwest Minnesota. And we have some pretty healthy drought, moderate drought taking place across most of central and eastern Minnesota. We could certainly use the moisture here, and it looks like some of the areas that are in the worst drought situation right now in the Northern Valley are going to be the best chance of seeing this storm miss. However, from Red Lakes area up there in the Beltrami County area and points south, there's an excellent chance of seeing some remediation of the drought. Same thing goes for much of Iowa as well. Hopefully these areas can get some improvement with the drought. Okay, thank you also very much for your support. Thank you for your stars. I'm seeing, you're seeing your own posts come across the old Hutch page here, so you get an idea of what's going on. And thank you very much. I hope that the explanations are good, and I appreciate learning what you like to see in these broadcasts. So here's what you can expect from Hutch. I will keep you updated as we go through the weekend. You can expect an update on what's going on. I have a function I'll be at late on Saturday night, but I'll be back for sure to keep you updated. Sunday will be the main event. I will be in-house and taking names, if you will, and we'll be going over the weather and what you can expect with the changes to the forecast. Remember, these global models tend to make it look like there's going to be a huge area of impact. When this is all said and done, we're likely going to see more narrow bands of heavy snow, and there could be a rapid drop-off or cut-off of the snow that is even more rapid than some of these models I've been showing you look. In other words, this model shows this gradual descent in snowfall amounts, has 7 inches in Grand Forks. We may see closer to an inch or 2 in Grand Forks, and then it really ramps up to 8 to 10 inches for Fargo. So we'll start dialing in some of that stuff here as we head into the weekend, as we can with the higher resolution models. But for now, our friends in northeast Montana have a winter storm warning. That's my neighbors and friends and, well, relatives in Glendive, Montana. Hi, relatives up in Wolf Point, Fort Peck. You all can expect some, well, winter wonderland conditions heading in your general direction. And it'll be heading for us Saturday out west, Sunday here in the eastern part of the state, and it lasts all the way into Tuesday morning. One last look at that national picture. Here's your warnings out there in red. We have Roundup, Montana, and Billings in a watch for this storm system. There's some uncertainty there. But let's take a look at Glendive, Dawson County, Montana. We're expecting 40-mile-per-hour winds and 10 inches possible or greater in some areas out there. You know how hilly it is in the Yellowstone Valley. And this warning is in effect until 6 a.m. on Monday. So they're expecting snow and wind to continue throughout the duration of Sunday and into Monday morning there as well. For our area, the warnings start at different times out west than they do out east. I encourage you to check in with your local National Weather Service office. My colleagues in Bismarck do a wonderful job. My colleagues in Grand Forks are on top of it. My colleagues in Aberdeen are on top of it, as are Duluth and Minneapolis. And it looks like we're going to have some wild weather to contend with. So we'll update this once we get a handle on the track. Hutch's gut, did you hear that? Listen close. Hutch's gut says we have the worst case scenario potential for this particular system, where we have the better chance of seeing about 18 inches of snow, maybe a little bit more. Eastern South Dakota, right here into our southern lakes counties. That's what my gut is telling me. Let's see what happens, and we'll keep you posted. If you have travel plans, keep them fluid. Be ready to change them and have a survival kit handy. I'll keep you updated. Thanks so much. Jill, good to see you on. Hope everyone in Bismarck is doing swell, and we'll talk again very soon right here on Hutch's Weather. Thanks so very much.